Hello, everyone. We're recording this on Wednesday, April 22nd. I'm Ann Schweisguth, and joining me today virtually is the Mayor of Cottage Grove, Myron Bailey, to talk about COVID-19, as well as the city's Fire Chief Rick Redenius to discuss fire and EMS operations, and Economic Development Director Christine Costello to talk about how local businesses are doing. Well, thank you all for joining me today. Mayor Bailey, Governor Walz recently extended the stay-at-home order until May 4th. There's a chance it'll go longer than that. How does the extension affect the city?
Well, thank you for asking. I mean, for the extension itself, it's almost, to be frank, a little bit of status quo. Our city hall, the public areas are still closed. Public safety, the public area is still closed. The golf course, though, is open now. But the fact is, of course, the restaurant part is closed, as well as the ice arena. So nothing else has really changed, I guess, since the original decree. And the order, I should say. But in this particular case, the one good news piece is now people can get out and golf, but with restrictions.
I hear people are very excited to get out and golf.
Yes, it was opening weekend was a very, very busy.
That's great. People need something to do.
Exactly.
The city has a fun way to reach out to seniors right now. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, thank you. It's really kind of a neat thing. As many of you may be aware, we do have a variety of senior housing facilities here in Cottage Grove. And of course, they are some of the most vulnerable in this COVID-19 situation. So they're really getting held all together. In other words, they're not going out, they're staying in the buildings. You can't go in, they can't have families, coming in and physically meeting with them. And so what we're doing is we're asking the public to contact us. And we'll get you the name of an individual at one of those senior facilities here in Cottage Grove, and then you can write or color a specific message or a picture to that individual with the hashtag Cottage Grove Cares somewhere and included into it. And we'll make sure that that picture gets sent to them or delivered to them so that they know that we in Cottage Grove do care for them. We want them to be healthy, and we want them to be safe and to be, I guess, happy in this case, because it sounds like a lot of them are pretty sad or in some cases depressed because they're just not able to meet up with people. So this is our little way in Cottage Grove of helping them be aware that we as a community do love them, we support them, we care for them, we care for their safety. And we're hoping that everybody will continue to do that and send pictures, and we'll get them to the individuals.
I heard yesterday that the Strawberry Fest got canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact, I had been talking to them over the last few weeks. Real difficult decision to make, but to be frank with you, it's the right decision. We just don't know with how long this situation is going to be. As you mentioned earlier, May 4th is the current date. It could be extended longer. But what the public may not realize, even though this event isn't until mid-June, just like other events out there that are canceling all the way into October, there's a lot of lead time for businesses, fundraisers, setting things up that go weeks and months ahead of schedule from when the actual event is happening. And we, the Strawberry Fest, felt it was very prudent to err on the side of safety and cancel this year's event and obviously work towards next year, 2021. Hopefully everything will be good by then, we expect. But I do, in my comment on that, I just want to thank the Strawberry Fest committee, one, for caring about our community, for supporting this festival for the many, many years that's been out there, and also for looking forward. In other words, knowing that we as a community need to come together, but in a way it's going to have to be different than doing it at Strawberry Fest. And so just thank them for their work on that project, and also for focusing on the safety of the community. One other thing I can share with you real quick on that, though, too, is that, which I thought was interesting, and again, they're so good about this. They already jumped into it, and that is, normally at Strawberry Fest, that's when they hand over the reins from one ambassador group of girls to another one. And they already talked to the current ambassadors that are currently in the position, and they are going to stay on for another year. So all of them will continue to be the ambassadors for Cottage Grove. And again, they've done a phenomenal job over the last year representing and supporting the city of Cottage Grove in festivals and events throughout the whole upper Midwest. And they've all graciously accepted to stay another year for when we truly can get back out and do some of these meet and greets and visiting with their seniors and helping out there in the community. So I want to thank them too for all the work that they've done in the last year and obviously the work they're going to do this coming year.
Well, that's quite the commitment. That's great to hear that they're willing to do that a whole nother year.
Yeah, I was impressed. That was a pretty cool thing. I know that it's, and boy, everybody thinks just like being mayor or doing Strawberry Fest that it's all pomp and circumstance, so to speak. And the fact is, in their particular case, it's a lot of work, a lot of family work too. The families are the ones driving the float. They're getting the girls and the ladies to the different events. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just, showing up on a float, getting up there, waving at people, and then going home. Way more than that. We really appreciate their efforts.
Well, let's switch topics over to Rick there. How are firefighters and EMS professionals dealing with the current situation?
Well, they're doing pretty good. We have not seen a big influx of actual COVID-19 cases. We're responding to calls as normal, but we are taking extra precautions. Staff are wearing masks into the call. We're sending a front person in first to kind of assess what's going on. And then if more staff is needed into that area of the home, then we'll move in there with them. But we're doing what we can to limit our exposure to potential cases. We are not being told of many transports where the people actually had COVID-19. So we've been pretty lucky in Cottage Grove. We've seen a downturn in call responses and calls for service. I'm assuming because most people are staying home and listening to what the governor's orders are, listening to the updates, and abiding by them. So I think that's helping us out in our service greatly.
I heard that you also recently got a very large grant for personal protective equipment, or PPE.
We did. We applied for a grant through the state to purchase PPE items and offset costs to help combat COVID-19. And we had submitted originally for a $67,000 grant, and were awarded a $44,000 grant. So out of, I think there was a $50 million pot, $155 million was requested, or $350 million was requested by all the agencies in the state. So we feel pretty fortunate that they looked at our service and thought that what we were going to do to maintain, prepare, and take care of the situation of COVID-19, they thought it was good enough to give us $44,000. So not only PPE supplies, but we also added an extra person on per shift. So in case we started to see an influx of cases, our staff would be prepared. And if any of our staff started to fall ill, we wouldn't be scrambling to fill positions either. So we're pretty thankful for that.
The fire station is also accepting cloth masks that people can make, right?
That's correct. Just this last Saturday, the governor announced that local fire departments will accept cloth masks, handmade cloth masks, this Saturday, the 25th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have a drop box out in the west parking lot at the Central Fire Station. I myself will be attending that area and answer any questions and to thank people if they stop by to drop off any cloth masks. But that's not the only day that they can do it. They can stop by at any time that works for them. They just come into the front vestibule area of the Central Fire Station, ring the doorbell, and a staff member or myself will come out and meet them. There doesn't have to be any contact. They can stay by the door. We'll stay on the other side of the door. And if they have any information to pass on, they can do it that way. And then when they would leave the vestibule, we'll take the mask from them.
A lot of people sewing out there, so good to know there's
yes, there are. And Minnesota is a volunteer state. That's what we do in Minnesota, and I expect that there's going to be a lot of donations throughout the state on Saturday.
Well, switching over to Christine, let's talk about business a little bit. How are local businesses doing, and how is the city working with them?
Thank you for the question, Ann. As the mayor said, the golf course is open and the governor is looking at reopening businesses. Our hardest hit businesses are those that are considered non-essential by the governor currently under executive orders 2004 and 2008. So that's our retail and our commercial businesses. Those businesses have had to lay off many of their employees. They're at limited staff. We do encourage, if it is a restaurant, those restaurants are practicing social distancing. If you can and are comfortable, we encourage you to consider curbside or buying a gift card to support those businesses. Additionally, we're looking at going to council and refunding some of our business licenses for those that are non-essential that have been closed during this time. We want those businesses to stay and stick around, so we're looking at what opportunities we can do to support them.
The city also has a list of restaurants that are open on their website, right?
Correct, we do, and it's also posted on Facebook as well. It gives their phone numbers, and so you can call them up, go online, and look and see what they have available.
Is the city still processing permits and approving new projects?
We are. That has not stopped. You still, in the vestibule at City Hall, can drop off a permit. If you're doing home improvement projects or our larger residential projects are still moving forward. We're still busy in processing those permits. That has not slowed down. Additionally, in our industrial park, Renewal by Anderson is doing an expansion. That's continuing. And then many people may have noticed along Highway 61, the construction of Up North Plastics. They're adding a major addition to their facility. That's continuing as well. So business is still happening. So that's nice to see.
All right, Myron, before we go, I just wanted to touch on the US Census. That's a really important thing that people fill out, and I thought you might want to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, and thank you for the question, Ann. I would tell you that the latest numbers that I saw of the actual response rate in Cottage Grove is almost 74%. So we obviously still have some opportunity there to get more and more people to actually participate. Most of that, by the way, was done online. So about 73% of it was actually done online. There's some, obviously you have the opportunity to mail some in too. The next step would be if you still have that form sitting on your counter and you just haven't gotten around to doing it, I would ask that you please do it. It is extremely important that we get a correct census. It means a lot to the community, both from federal and state funding. If you want road projects done, this road or that road, which I hear a lot about this pothole or that pothole, all those monies, most of those monies do come from both federal and state opportunities. So we need to have an accurate count, and it's based off of the population. So we want to make sure that we get a current and correct count. So again, if you haven't done it, please send it in. Please contact through the website, or if you have any questions, obviously you can contact City Hall and we'll help you get the answers.
So bottom line, fill out the census.
Fill out the census. Please fill out the census.
All right. Any last words from anybody? Anything else you'd like to say?
Well, I guess
Go ahead, Mayor.
Okay. From my standpoint, I would just like to once again thank the community, the citizens of Cottage Grove, all of our employees working in the city, whether it's from public safety, fire, obviously EMS, public works. I mean, I could go down the list, and I know I'll miss somebody in the accolades, but this has been a trying time for all of us, trying time for us as employees of the city, but also trying for our community. But I've been very, very impressed with everybody pulling together, whether it's creating masks, whether it's creating hand sanitizers and delivering it, food to our public safety personnel. This community truly does care and really does pull together in times of crisis and times of need. And so thank you, I guess, from my point as mayor of Cottage Grove, thank you for everything you're doing. Hang in there with us. We will get through this. It's a guarantee. And I look forward to that day when we can all mingle once again in a more open manner.
Rick.
I was just going to echo the same sentiments. The outpouring of support for public safety has just been awesome. The staff truly do appreciate when people send letters and cards and and have food dropped off during long shifts. It's been very nice and very humbling. They're very appreciative of the people that are doing that. And for them, I'll say thank you very much.
Christine?
Again, echo again what the mayor and Rick said. Thank you to our residents. Thank you to our businesses for hanging in there. We look forward to eating in your restaurants and shopping again real soon.
Perfect way to end. Thank you all very much for joining me. Stay safe.
Thank you.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you.